Imagine waking up one day and realizing your thoughts aren't your own. What if every memory you trusted could be rewritten, erased, or even replaced? This isn't a scene from a sci-fi movie. It's the chilling reality of experiments scientists once carried out on real people. Governments poured millions into finding ways to bend the human mind like clay. Ordinary citizens turned into unwitting test subjects. Drugs slipped into their systems. Hypnosis whispered into their ears. Electric shocks pulsed through their brains. All in the name of control. Control over behavior. Control over loyalty. Control over the very essence of free will. The question isn't if these experiments happened. The question is, how far did they go? And are they still happening today? For decades, mind control was dismissed as nothing more than conspiracy theories. Stories that belonged in Hollywood thrillers, not in real life. But buried deep in declassified files and whispered testimonies, a darker truth began to surface. Behind closed doors, experiments were being carried out with chilling precision, not in some faraway dystopia, but right here in labs funded by governments and military agencies. The Cold War wasn't just fought with weapons. It was fought inside the human brain. Scientists wanted to know, could a mind be broken, rebuilt, or even programmed? Could memories be erased like chalk from a blackboard? Could loyalty be engineered the way machines are designed? And if so, could humans themselves become weapons? What started as psychological research quickly spiraled into something far more dangerous. Secret projects were launched with names that sounded harmless, but their purpose was anything but. Volunteers weren't always volunteers. Many were unsuspecting, drawn into the web without consent. Ordinary people, soldiers, prisoners, even hospital patients, became test subjects. The public was told nothing. Every document stamped classified. Every failure swept under the rug. But some experiments left behind scars that could never be hidden. Victims who remembered fragments of what was done to them. Whistleblowers who risked everything to speak out. And slowly, piece by piece, the puzzle revealed just how far science had gone in pursuit of control. Long before governments got involved, psychologists were already probing the mysteries of the human mind. Ivan Pavlov's dogs proved that behavior could be conditioned with nothing more than repetition and reward. B.F. Skinner pushed the idea further, showing how humans, too, could be molded like clay through positive and negative reinforcement. But the most dangerous question was this: if you could train the mind, could you also break it? Hypnosis became the next frontier, scientists hypnotizing volunteers to act against their will. Simple commands planted like seeds that later bloomed as uncontrollable action. What looked like harmless academic curiosity soon became a blueprint for something darker. Because if these techniques worked in a lab, imagine what could happen in the hands of those seeking power. That's when the military began to take notice. In the 1950s, fear of the Soviet Union gripped America. Rumors spread that communist nations were already using brainwashing techniques on prisoners of war. The CIA responded with one of its most infamous projects, MK Ultra. On the surface, it looked like research in medicine and psychology, but in reality, it was an all-out assault on the human mind. LSD slipped into people's drinks without their knowledge. Electroshock therapy cranked up to dangerous levels. Sleep deprivation experiments lasting days, sometimes weeks. Some test subjects were soldiers. Others were civilians who had no idea why their lives suddenly spiraled into madness. The goal wasn't just to study the brain. It was to rewrite it, to see if a human could be programmed like a machine, carrying out orders without question. Officially, MK Ultra was shut down, but many believe its secrets never truly disappeared. The victims of these experiments weren't faceless statistics. They were real people whose lives were shattered forever. One Canadian woman checked into a hospital for mild depression. She left with her memory completely wiped. She couldn't recognize her own children. Prisoners were offered reduced sentences in exchange for volunteering for drug trials. Most had no idea what they were signing up for. College students were lured by cash rewards, only to find themselves hallucinating for days. Some never fully recovered. Whistleblowers later exposed documents that painted a horrifying picture. Ordinary citizens turned into unwilling participants in a massive psychological game. These stories were not rumors. They were testimonies backed by declassified files. And each one raised a terrifying possibility. If this much was exposed, how much still remains hidden? As the decades passed, experiments didn't stop, they evolved. Psychology merged with technology, opening doors once thought impossible. Brain implants began as medical tools, designed to help patients with epilepsy or Parkinson. But the same devices that could heal could also be used to control. Scientists discover ways to stimulate specific parts of the brain, triggering emotions, urges, even aggression. Imagine a device that can make someone feel fear or loyalty on command. Meanwhile, research into subliminal messaging found ways to slip influence beneath the threshold of awareness. Advertising, politics, even propaganda could be engineered to tap directly into our subconscious. And as neuroscience advanced, the line between healing and manipulation grew thinner and thinner. The mind was no longer just being studied, it was being hacked. Today, the battlefield has shifted once again. We're no longer talking about secret labs and hidden files. We're talking about technology that billions of people carry in their pockets every day. Smartphones track behavior with frightening accuracy. Algorithms predict what you'll buy, what you'll watch, even how you'll vote. Neurotech companies are racing to build brain-computer interfaces, devices that can read and transmit thoughts. Elon Musk's Neuralink promises medical miracle, but could it also open the door to manipulation? Scientists are now experimenting with artificial intelligence that can decode brainwaves into text. The implications are staggering. If your thoughts can be read, they can also be influenced. The question is no longer whether mind control is possible. The question is, in a world run by technology, will you even notice what happens to you? We often think of mind control as something that only happens in secret labs. But the truth is, it's already happening around us every single day. Not through drugs or electric shocks, but through something much simpler: influence. Social media platforms are designed to keep your attention locked in. Every swipe, every click, every pause is measured, analyzed, and used against you. The more predictable your behavior, the easier you are to control. And the scariest part? You don't even notice it happening. Think about it. How often do you check your phone without even realizing? That's conditioning at work, just like Pavlov's dogs responding to a bell. Push notifications, likes, and comments aren't just features. They're triggers, tiny psychological hooks designed to make you crave the next hit of dopamine. Over time, this shapes your habits, your decisions, even your beliefs. It's no accident that billions of people spend hours scrolling instead of living. That's modern mind control, subtle, invisible, and terrifyingly effective. But influence doesn't stop there. Look at the way news headlines are framed. The same story can be presented as hope or fear, depending on how the words are chosen. This framing effect changes how you see reality itself. Politicians, advertisers, even influencers know how to spin narratives that shape your opinions. And once your mind buys into frame, it resists anything that challenges it. That's why misinformation spreads faster than the truth. Not because it's believable, but because it's designed to bypass logic and hook your emotions. So, how do you defend yourself? Awareness is your first weapon. The moment you realize you're being influenced, you take back power. Question the headlines before reacting. Ask yourself, who benefits if I believe this? When scrolling, notice the patterns that grab your attention. Is it outrage? Fear? Curiosity? Those are levers being pulled. Step back and recognize them for what they are: psychological tools. The second defense is control over your own inputs. Limit exposure to constant noise. Curate what you consume instead of letting algorithms feed you. Choose long-form content over endless quick bites. It rewires your brain for deeper focus. And most importantly, rebuild real-world habits. Conversations with people, time in nature, activities where your brain isn't being bombarded by engineered stimuli. The less dependent you are on external triggers, the stronger your mental defenses become. Finally, remember this: control is never absolute. No system, no technology can fully dominate a mind that is aware of its own power. The more conscious you become of these influences, the less grip they hold on you. Mind control may have come a long way, but awareness is still the ultimate shield. At the end of the day, mind control isn't just a relic of the past. It's not locked away in classified files or hidden in underground labs. It's here. It's in the way your phone lights up with a notification. It's in the way an ad follows you around the internet. It's in the way a single headline can make you feel anger, hope, or fear. The experiments may have started decades ago, but their legacy lives on in everyday life. And that's the most unsettling truth. The strongest form of control is the one you don't notice. Because when you don't notice it, you can't resist it. Every choice you make, every belief you hold, could be nudged by invisible hands. So ask yourself, how much of your life is truly yours? How many of your thoughts are really your own? And if you've never questioned it before, maybe that's exactly the way they wanted it. The scariest truth is this: You may not even realize when your mind is being controlled. So the real question is, who's controlling yours? If this video opened your eyes, don't stop here. Dive deeper with us into the hidden side of psychology and influence. Hit that subscribe button, share this video with someone who needs to wake up, and remember, awareness is the only freedom they can't take away from you.